Good morning, everybody, on this beautiful spring day. My name's Clive Dickin. I'm the NASC CEO. Today we're going to be talking about the health and safety training and tests. Really excited to have both Carl Hassel from the NOCN group, and he's the group director, and Tony Barry from CISRS as the CISRS compliance director. Today has come off, and it's fair to say, some quite compelling feedback from NASC members from pretty well when I joined the organisation back in July 2023, but really resonating at the regional meetings in September and through the CEO surgeries that I've been meeting with members about some of the challenges being faced by the current structures of the health and safety tests, the way they are working, the benefits and weaknesses of the current system. And I'm really excited. I think we've got some solutions today that Carl and Tony are going to be presenting. Bit of housekeeping. We are recording today, so yeah, if you want to play my brummy dulcet tones back to your heart's content, you can. We will be taking questions and answers, so please use the chat function actually in the webinar. Again, at the end, we'll be taking questions. If you've got something written or you're shy, you can use anonymous by all means, but today is a bit of fun. And part of that fun, we're going to start with a poll to actively just try and get a bit of a flavour for the types of teams and organisations and individuals on the call today. So can our wonderful tech, can you please get the poll started? And if you could start clicking those buttons, please, all those that are on, it'd be great to get some feedback, some fairly straightforward questions. Hopefully you like the cheeky answers that we have slipped in there as well. Go on, don't be shy. Got about 40 people on the call today, so let's start seeing how many people are brave to answer. Right, and there we go. We can see the results. So yeah, you currently is the current health and safety test fit for purpose? Yes. Well, actually, it's come out high as 58%, but no 42. Interesting. But I think everybody can't stand, let's face it, going to the test centre. It is a problem, it's a challenge. 87% clearly saying. Do you read the training material? Yeah, we've got some honesty there. I'm a good learner. Excellent. Not to be surprised, but there's some really honest. We've got a 32 and a 5%. So again, I think Carl, when we start talking about the actual centre and the way you can deliver the technical training online, that'd be great. And great to see a good cross-section there. We've got individuals on, so welcome all of those that are taking tests individually. I hope what we show today will give you a bit of inspiration of what you can do at home or in your van or workplace. But again, we've got several larger employers as well that are on the call today, so brilliant. Okay. Thank you for setting that scene and participating in the poll. Really helpful for Carl and Tony. It's my pleasure now really to just hand over to Tony, who's going to give a CISRS perspective on the health and safety and training programme. Over to you, Tony.
Hi, morning everybody. But from a CISRS point of view, obviously, as you've seen from the poll, the health and safety test is the only test that's there at the moment as such, as in it's a CITB recognised card to get your CSCS CISRS card. So it's part and parcel of what we need. We have already got some sort of exemptions that we accept for the card, and obviously the apprenticeship, the measure of health and safety they do on the apprenticeship on the foundation course, that covers it. Then there's also people, NEBOSH spent a lot of time doing the NEBOSH qualification they do, and SMSTS is 5 days. So all these things that we accept as exemptions, but it does involve a lot of attendance, a lot of traveling to get there and so forth, and whatever. We also accept things like, passport to safety and whatever. So from our point of view, from this, this would be another exemption. But from our point of view and the way we've looked at it is, it will be a lot easier. You can do it at your leisure. Carl will actually go through how it works and where you can stop and start the learning process before you take the test. And I just think it'll be another option that people will look to, because certain places they can do it. They don't have to book a certain time and so forth and so on. So yeah, so that's where we are from a CISRS perspective, and that's where we hope to go from there, and hopefully you all enjoy what you're going to see. Over to Carl. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Yep, and Carl, want to take us through the training and the test proposals that you've got?
Excellent. If we could just have the first PowerPoint, and then I'll get round to sharing my screen shortly. Could I have the next one, please, Marie? So I just thought I'd mention smart cards very quickly, because I think there's a good proportion of people out there that still don't understand that the CISRS and CSCS cards have the NFC technology, and it'll show all the competencies that those individuals have. So we're building in the background other courses, so asbestos awareness, working at height, all these kind of courses, CAT scan training and all that, not relevant to CISRS, I know, but in the future there may be other short courses that we can display on that card. If I could have the next one, please, Marie. So yeah, the current cards can be checked by any device that is NFC enabled, so most smartphones, most tablets, and you can also buy or purchase a little NFC reader that plugs into your computer to read cards. And again, what's on the back of the card is printed, but this also allows us to put other competencies on there when it comes to credentialing an individual for their lifelong learning in the future. Next one, please. So the health, safety, environment test, our version, the NOCN version, how it came about really. So we're a small charity, non-for-profit. Our board is always looking at ways in which it can support as many learners as possible. So the board is made up of individuals from within the construction sector and the education sector, and they asked us explicitly, could we develop a health, safety, environment test with some really good learning content that is as neurodiverse as possible to help as many people achieve a health and safety test who generally struggle. So that's where we are. I will be showing you that in due course. Next one, please. So I think everybody knows the importance of health and safety. NOCN, together with industry, developed this health, safety, environment test. So just over 2 years ago now, we set on the journey, we set up a working group, and we started to look at and mapping it to the current CITB learning to make sure that it met all of the outcomes that are required. That has been mapped by CSCS. And I will take you through some samples of that learning shortly. Next one, please. So the benefits, user-friendly platform, hassle-free booking, flexibility. You can study and take your test at any time, any location. You can access the learning material as many times as you want, go over the learning as many times as you want. However, you only get one chance at the test. So it minimises work disruption. You spend less time away from work or site activities. No travelling to and from centres, trying to park the car on double yellow lines and getting tickets and all those things that people do on a weekend. And most importantly, ensures that our operatives have a full and sufficient level of health, safety, environment knowledge, understanding, and this learning, as you will see, really allows them to digest and remember that learning. If you compare it to what's currently on the market, which is an app or a book, we take the book for an example, that's 280 pages of questions and answers that are multiple choice. So we've created something that hopefully people will remember and remember their learning rather than just remembering questions and answers. Next one, please, Marie. So the learning content, so I'm not going to read all those out, but that's what the learning content covers and a few more besides. As I said, I'll take you through some samples of that learning very shortly. Next one, please. So the landing page, so at the minute, if you go to the NOCN job cards page, you will see that we've got a health, safety, environment test, and it says book now. So there will be 2 landing pages in the future, one for CISRS and one for CPCS, and that's what they look like. The most important button there is book now. So it gives you all the information. I just want to clarify that the learning is online, the test is online, and there are some requirements which I'll go through shortly for the test. So if we can do this in sequence, I'll go through the booking platform with you, the learning material, and then the test, because that's the sequence that operatives and employers will use and book tests. So CISRS will also be replicating the book now button on their website. These pages will be live from the 17th of June, and people will be able to undertake their learning and test from the 17th of June. If you press the book now button, and it will take you to the next page, please, Marie, which is our landing page, which is to sign up for a learner account. If you select employer there, it will allow you to select an employer hub access. So the employer hub access is slightly different to the learner, and I'll show you in a moment or two why that is. So we've got 2 journeys in the hub. One is for a learner and one is for an employer or provider or a centre, whatever we want to call that. Someone who wants an account with us, who wants to book tests on behalf of learners or employees of their business. Next, please, Marie. I think that's it. So yeah, I thought it was. So I'm just going to share my screen now. 2 seconds. So that is literally how you register. Once you log in, it'll verify the email, and you will have to have access to that email account to be able to verify the account for the first time that you log in. And then subsequently, if you log in, multi-factor authentication, now you'll be emailed a 6-digit password within 5 seconds. So what the hub will look like, so first of all, you will log into your page. So this is currently any CISRS centres throughout the UK are already using this. So we're opening it up to employers like yourselves. So if you went to the course test catalogue, it'll give you a list of courses. So we're interested here in the health and safety environment test. So you would add that to your basket, and then you would go to your basket, and at the checkout point, if you've purchased 5 tests, it'll allow you to enter 5 recipients. So for the employer account, you don't have to register every single learner every single time. You can allow the learner to self-register, because you will book and pay for the test, and they will receive an email with instructions on how to log into this and take the test. As an employer, you will be able to click on My Purchases. You'll be able to see all the learners that you've allocated tests for. So we've got Mr. Heaps here. This is just some mock data. It's health safety test, and then the status of that learning. So whether the learning is completed, whether the whole thing is completed, whether it's in progress, that allows you then to chase those learners if you've given them a date to achieve by, and you can monitor and also send them an email reminding them that they need to now take their test, or they've not completed the learning, etc, etc, etc. So that's all around the registration. For this test, there is a requirement that any individual holds either a driving license, a passport, or an existing CISRS card, because what we don't want to do is open it up to fraudulent activity. There's plenty of that goes on. We're trying to exclude it from our organisation. So they're the requirements. And then we've got our TCS platform, which I'll come on to at the end, which is our test platform. It has some AI whilst the individuals are taking their test. So to be able to do a test, they will need a computer with a camera and microphone. So that could be a laptop, or it could be a desktop with a plug-in camera microphone that just sits on the top of the computer, and it records them whilst they're doing the test. It's, like I said, it's got some AI technology in there. It's kind of looking for people looking away with their head down, maybe looking at questions and answers. It's doing the facial recognition against the identification that they've uploaded. So I've got a smart piece of software there in the background. So we'll, like I say, we'll come on to that, and I'll show you a very short video in a little while. So I just want to take you into the learning content now. I'm just going to move a couple of things around on my screen so I can make this all work properly. So the course is broken down into 4 elements. So legal and management, the environment, high risk activities, health, welfare, and general safety. So obviously it takes around 1 hour and 40 minutes to complete the learning. On the version that you're seeing here, this allows me to, because it's a demo version or an administrator's version, it allows me to flick through just so I can demonstrate it. But normally you would click start here and you would go through the learning in a particular order. And if you logged off or you lost connection, when you log back in again, it will pick up where you left off. Like I said at the beginning, you can repeat the learning as many times as you like. So I'm just going to go scroll down this left hand side, and you can see all the different topics that are covered down here on the left hand side. So toolbox talks, risk assessments, risk assessment examples, the difference between PPE and RPE, what a method statement is. We've got some interactive stuff. I'll just play this.
Spotting activity. Construction sites always contain hazards. A hazard is a source or a situation that has potential to cause harm, injury, or ill health to a person or people, could damage property or the environment, or a combination of these effects. Can you find all 7 hazards in the image?
Okay, so I'll click start. I've got a site there and I need to try and find as many hazards as I can. The first one that stands out is an excavation without any guardrails or fencing around it. We've got an access platform here with some ladders on top of a toolbox, or someone underneath a load, and I'm struggling to get the rest. So basically, through any of these interactive scenarios, if people struggle, they can reveal the answers, because it's really important that people leave with the right knowledge and not the wrong knowledge. And then there's a second activity, just to embed again, somebody reaching off a ladder, another open excavation, so on and so forth. We reveal those answers and it gives you all the different hazards. So then we go into first aid questions, CDM, site facilities, RIDDOR, risk assessments, and then we're into topic 2, so which is all about the environment and the Environmental Act, hazardous materials, silica dust, waste hierarchy, waste arrangements, and then topic 3, safe systems of work, dangers from electricity. So I'm not going to read them all out, but you get the gist. Overhead power lines, blind spots, planting equipment, managing blind spots.
Managing blind spots. Construction plant machinery should never travel on pedestrian walkways unless alternative routes have been provided. Particular care must be taken in situations when plant that can rotate through 360 degrees is being used, and working in confined areas or adjacent to structures where anyone walking between the machine and structure could be crushed.
So there's a couple of areas that we've really focused on in this health, safety and learning, and they're kind of two key topics in the world of the health and safety executive, and that is people, plant interface, and fire. So when we come on to the fire one, we've really beefed up the fire in line with the requirements of the Building Safety Act as well.
People and plant interface zones. Drag and drop the worker into the different interface zones.
Okay, so that's another interactive activity. I'm not going to go through it, but it gives you the idea. Using ladders, steps, good practice, scaffolding key messages, trenches, buried services, COSH, so on and so forth. So we've got all these subjects, and then the last topic area, fire triangle.
The fire triangle. For a fire to start, 3 elements are needed. Select the elements for more information.
And you click on each of these and it gives you what heat is, what oxygen is, and what fuel is, and then how the fires start, how they spread, conduction, convection, radiation, etc. Fire extinguisher, again, that's an activity, so it's asking you to select the right extinguisher to put the type of fire out. So we need to go to the first one first. Apologies.
Fire extinguishers. Below are 5 types of fire extinguisher. Each are used for different types of fire. Employers must consider the risk of fires in the workplace and ensure that firefighting equipment of the correct size and type are provided, depending on the associated risks. Those who use extinguishers should be trained to ensure that the correct type is used. Click on the fire extinguishers to learn more.
So we'd click on each of those and it'd tell us, and it won't let you move on until you've done that. And then it'd give you a sample or an example. So we've got an electrical fire. So what fire extinguisher we're going to use? I'm just going to select the wrong one for fun. Retry or continue. If I continue, it'll give us the correct answer, again cementing that everybody leaves with the right information. Manual handling, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into everyone because it'll take us a while and we don't have that much time. So in a nutshell, that's the learning. We've tried to keep it really simple, low resolution graphics. The learning itself will work on a phone or a tablet or an iPad or any device really, but the test, as I said, you need an integrated or bolt-on extension camera and microphone for the test, because that is monitored all the way throughout the test. So I'm just going to come on to one more point, which is the test. So I'm just going to play this and then we'll go back to Clive for a wash up or questions and answers in the second part.
The screen will proceed to displaying instructions prior to taking the test. The user is advised to read the instructions carefully. There is a timer in place to ensure the user does not skip this page. Once the timer has expired, they can tick the box to confirm the instructions have been read and understood. They may then choose, "I am ready to begin." The user will need to select the screen they are sharing. They will select Share. The timer for the test will start at this point. Questions will appear on the left of the screen with 4 possible answers. The user must select the correct answer by choosing the radio button next to the question. A black dot on the answer indicates the selection. On the right-hand side, there is a key to indicate questions not yet answered, in grey. Answers given, in green. And answers not given, in red. The user must choose Save and Next to move on to the next question. If they wish to return to the previous question, they can choose Previous. When all answers are shown in green, indicating that they have been answered, the user can choose Submit. Choosing submit will lock in the user responses, and the test cannot be revisited from this point. A summary screen will appear with various reminders that the user is submitting the test. Once submitted, the user can return to the hub and await review of their test and results statement. Tests are reviewed by the team and results are issued typically within 2 working days.
So just to clarify there, at the end of the test, when somebody takes that test, they will get an instant result. So the result is instant. It is emailed to them. Well, it's on screen first, so achieved or not achieved, and the marks. Then a score report is emailed to them instantly. However, for the next 48 hours, we do have the right to revoke a test. And the reason for that is every single test that we conduct is recorded and reviewed by a person. So we have the AI in the background that's monitoring the test. However, we still do that record and review because we're absolutely adamant that this is safety critical to our sector and our industry. And we want to make sure that the test is robust and it's the correct person with the correct knowledge sitting that test. Hopefully I've covered any of the FAQs that you might have. If not, I'm sure somebody will point me in the right direction to being able to see any questions that are being asked.
That's brilliant, Carl. Thank you very much. And Tony, if you want to come back on camera, we've got a few questions, some technical, some price, some time ones as well. So starting, I mean, Carl, I think this is one for you. Had a question on cost and time. Can you give an indication, and Tony, you may want to answer on this as well, about the costs for obviously an individual going through both the test and also the actual training, and an indication of the time that's involved in the actual process?
Yeah, so I can come in there, Clive. So the test is £22. As I said, that gives the learner access to the learning materials as many times as they want before they take the test. Literally, there is in the hub, when you undertake your learning, there's a little button that says take test now, and that is grayed out until the learning is completed. We've put a time in on all of the learning, so somebody can't go into that learning and just skip and get through that learning in 5 minutes. It's not possible. There are some bits that are interactive, so they have to interact with it as well. That's making sure that people haven't set an AI bot up to do it for them in the background. So the whole thing is £22. That includes the learning material as many times as you want. There's no books to buy, no apps to download. You know, it's more a cost-effective kit currently.
Brilliant. And Carl, just that this is a question actually, it can be done on a phone, a tablet, and a PC, anywhere, can't it?
The learning can, yes, Clive, but the test needs to be in a kind of sterile environment, like an office, like a training room, like somebody's kitchen without the dog barking and the kids running past. As long as that computer for the test has either an integrated camera and microphone or an extension one, which you can buy on Amazon. Other stores are available for about £10, £12.
Brilliant. And I take it the dog can't help.
No.
Unless
you've got one other dog.
Yes, no, absolutely. Brilliant. Just a question then on updating. I mean, we've recently just had, for example, changes to RIDDORs announced by the Health and Safety Executive. How's NOCN, NOCN, actually going to manage changes to it? Is that something that will be notified? Do you see that being a linear process?
So absolutely. So, like I said, we formed a working group of professionals working in the health and safety field across the construction sector. Every 6 months we will review it. And in fact, I think at midnight last night we just launched version 2. And then every 6 months there'll be a review and we'll decide whether that needs changing or not. but there will be a review with that working group every 6 months. That's in reference.
Fantastic, Carl. Thank you. A few technical ones here, Tony, which I think is quite exciting. Triple STS, SMSTS are exemptions for a HS&E test. However, why is scissor scaffolding supervisors not also a verified exemption, considering this course is being pushed as an equivalent? Tony, can you answer that one?
Yes, I looked at that, and really there's no reason why it can't be, really, because we do push it as equivalent to SMSTS. In fact, it is heavily scaffolding based. SMSTS might go more into CDM and other, but the amount of health and safety is in there. So that, I've seen that question, and that is something we certainly take back and something that we look to change, because it's 5 days of training, all health and safety, more than, you know, a lot more. So yeah, that is sort of like good question, and I think it's something that we will certainly look at sooner rather than later.
Excellent. Thank you, Tony. I think this is a general question, but Carl, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong. The Pearson's test is still going to be available, absolutely. But I believe, obviously, with this gives the flexibility for the employer or the individual to log on and access the training and do the actual test wherever is appropriate. Not sure if you've got any comments, chaps.
No, absolutely. I mean, we designed this to run parallel to the Pearson View. So the Pearson View is the network that runs the health, safety, environment test for CITB. It's a CITB owned and managed product. So Pearson View manage those tests and provide the accommodation for those tests. And CITB provide the learning material in the form of a book and an app that you can download. We just wanted to help as many learners as we can who have neurodiversity issues, whose first language isn't reading and writing. That's why our learning content is very interactive, graphics, voiced overed. It's really designed to do what it says on the tin, and that is help as many learners as possible.
And I think, Carl, I mean, I've seen it obviously before today. I was quite impressed because I thought it was fun. And I think quite often reading the book, and we were cryptic around reading the book, come on, be honest, if we really read the book, there is quite common, and Tony, you and I have spoken about this, they don't read the book, our learners, they just go straight and try the test, and it creates a fail. So having something that I think is a little more interactive and a little more friendly to actually go through is a real positive. We've got a more supervisory question again. I think, Tony, this will be one for you. Will there be a supervisor and manager's test, or will this course just be the equivalent for the health, safety and environmental test for operatives? Tony, can you answer that?
Yeah, it's probably one for Carl first, because obviously they'll have to develop any add-ons for working at height or supervisors and managers. It started off initially as an operatives one, and Carl, you tell me what the plans are to move this forward.
Yeah, so again, it was about helping as many people as we can, and first and foremost, it is generally the operatives that struggle. So we designed that first. It's about to break even with the cost development, the development costs. And then when we make surplus out of this product, the next step will be supervisors, and then the next step from that will be the managers as well. So in due course, we will be bringing more learning content online, as well as short CPD modules and things like that.
Brilliant. Thanks, Carl. Quick and nice and easy one. Is there an option to sit mock tests, Carl?
No, there isn't. There are built-in questions throughout the learning. I don't know if when I was scrolling down that left-hand side of the learning, there is mock questions built into the learning just to confirm understanding as the learner progresses. But remember, that learner can access that learning material as many times as they want before they click the take the test button.
That's brilliant. There's a question that I'm going to widen it slightly. Is there a specialist work at height version? I actually think this is about version, and I think, Carl, I'm really quite keen to make sure, certainly as NASC, through our guidance documents, that we start building on this. Have you got any words of wisdom about the future, Tony? Again, have you got any thoughts
on sort of widening this? So I'm just trying to read the questions as well with it. are coming in about regarding, it's still on the supervisor's course. I'm trying to use that 5-day course. Will it be like available? Why is it also not about virtual? So CISRS we are looking at a lot of virtual stuff moving forward. In the process, we're not there quite yet. We're sort of taking small steps to moving forward, but it's slowly at the moment until we get up and going. But we have got plans to really move forward digitally, but we've got to look at where we are from a safety critical trade as where we are, difference between the virtual training and practical training. So that's what I'm just looking for. You know, an SMSTS, you can do it virtually. There's different options. During the lockdown, we did do virtual training when I was at CITB, and that was where an instructor was in front of the screen and they done everything that way. Even that way worked. I'm not sure. I'm not attending the SMSTS virtually, so I don't know how that exactly works. But again, it's something that we are looking forward.
And coming to Gail's question, and Gail, obviously we're very much involved. NASC, we've just launched the SG6 video, and I'm very keen to see how, not just in a supervisory, but in all aspects of working at height, scaffolding and access, we can start developing rich, meaningful content that can actually be used. So I think this is absolutely the way forward, but nothing beats, as Tony's backdrop shows, a proper classroom work environment. And I think we have got to recognise that we are in a physical workspace, so there's always going to be an element of that physicality. But watch this space, definitely watch this space. Just coming back, a couple of questions before that. Will this apply in Wales? Absolutely, Carl. This is completely UK wide, so you can use this in the darkest reaches of the Scottish Highlands if you so wanted, can't you, Carl?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, there's not a test centre on the Isle of Man. There's no test centres in the Hebrides. Yet we have construction workers that are travelling down to London or out on the oil and gas, and you know. And they require a certain amount of health and safety knowledge. And just picking up on a previous comment, Clive, which was, you know, could we make this HS&E test specific to scaffolding? Initially, we went down the road because we're the second biggest card scheme in the CSCS footprint, of going down a pathway which was plant orientated. CSCS, CITB and others weren't happy with that, because this is a generic health and safety test, and the learning should be generic. However, there's nothing to stop us in the future having bolt-on CPD modules for safety net riggers, working at height, ladder safety awareness, you know, all these other things that people require in their everyday life. If they are short, sharp, and we can create something that's meaningful, we will support that.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Carl. One thing, Tony, will this test only be able to use to renew CISRS cards, or will it be accepted for CSCS cards also, for all trades outside scaffolding?
Well, it's for Carl to again answer. We've put this on particularly for we're looking for the CISRS. We're adding it as an option for the CISRS. The other CSCS, different cards have different exemptions, like at the start to show the exemptions that we've got, and they have to be passed by CSCS and accepted for that to happen. So that would be down to each individual card, which there are 38 different cards.
Yeah. So again, there 38 different partner card schemes make up CSCS. Currently, as we sit here today, if somebody has a plant card, a scissors card, and a steel erectors card, my advice to them would be to take the scissors, the Pearson View CITB version, because it wouldn't renew their CSCS card, but it would renew their scissors and their plant card. There is an application, so this is kind of awkward to explain, really. So CSCS have approved our product for our own use as CPCS and for the use as scissor scaffold scheme. They're in the process of taking it to their board for board approval for all construction operative levels across the 38. So that's where we are currently.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thanks, Carl. If you book a test as an employer, will a copy of the past confirmation be sent to the employer as well as the employee?
So it won't, but it will be in your dashboard. So if you've booked that test on behalf of Joe, then obviously you'll be able to see in the hub that it's completed. And then also if you go to card checker, whether that be the CISRS card checker or CPCS card checker, the same kind of thing, it'll give you the achievement of the HS&E test and the date it was achieved in there as well, as will the CISRS version.
Brilliant. And can you still go to a test centre? Oh, I think we've answered that one already, haven't we? Yes, you can still go to the test centre. Sorry, skipping over. We've got tons of questions, by the way. Brilliant to have such a good response. Is the test just for operative level, or will they function for management and professional, Carl, in the future, do you think?
So that'll be coming in the future. We need to develop it and design it. We need to make enough surplus off the cost of the development for this to be able to plough back in. Like I say, we're not for profit, so any surplus that is generated from the operatives will be ploughed firstly into supervisor, then managers, and maybe PQP if that's needed.
Carl, a broader question, I think, that's not just around the health and safety test, but actually broader testing. Do you do all levels of health and safety testing on the platform? Are there other options?
Just operatives at the moment, just operatives. We do have some other e-learning packages, kind of mold awareness for landlords, if anyone's interested in that. Asbestos awareness, most people have to do that every 12 months, so that's an e-learning package that's available to book in the hub. And again, you know, if we're keen to work with employers, associations, contractors to produce really good learning in the future that'll work for industry.
Brilliant. And a really good one here on languages. Is it only available in English, or are there other languages available, Carl?
Currently, it's only available in English. We are contemplating opening that up into 7 different languages, of which we've got a list of those languages, because the demographic has changed somewhat over the recent years. So we are considering that, yes.
Brilliant. And is Brummie one of the 7 languages, Carl?
It's a mate.
Oh, dearie me, that's shocking, Carl. That's shocking. I was thinking about Tony and I being true Brummies here. So, yeah, I mean, coming back then to obviously looking at as a scaffolding company, we're always booking the working at height health and safety tests, as this is the most relevant for our trade. Will this test cover that, or should we still look for Pearsons? And I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but Carl.
Again, like I say, that's something that we'd be willing to develop if there's a need for it and people would like this functionality and would like us to develop it. That's something else that we can look at alongside developing supervisors. So in the future, maybe literally this was kind of our first go at getting into this market and to help and support those learners that struggle to pass a test. I think we've achieved that. We've got over 3,000 tests now that have been achieved, and the feedback has been great. So if there's an opportunity to develop it in the future, we will.
Excellent. And I think final 3 quick questions. Is this going to be available and relevant in the Middle East, Carl? Tony?
Well, they'd obviously have to do it through this country, yeah, but it'd still be an exemption for anything that we'd have. But obviously, they'd have to log in, same as anybody else, and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in a little bit of conflict there because there's a international safety passport, which is generally the pre-requirement for most things out in the Middle East. So that's generally pushed in front of this out in those regions prior to doing your scaffolding or your plant or your glazing or whatever card that you're doing out there. It's that passport safety.
But from that point of view, if it was an OSTS CISRS card, which they would be coming under our banner, we would accept it. As for that, you know, just for the CISRS card, whatever else they've got to do, that would be down to the individual country that I was in, you know, in all honesty.
I'm just very conscious of time. Final two questions, and thank you for all these excellent questions. Is there an option for a voiceover on the test? Carl?
So there is literally on the bottom toolbar at midnight tonight. Will be read the question. So we've got the audible voiceover in the learning. We've replicated that in the test platform. It was working previously, but it malfunctioned, so we've had to pay for some additional development work, and again that's going in at midnight tonight. So prior to the 17th, and this being available, then it will 100% be there.
Brilliant. And what level of test do you need to take as a COTS? It's just one test, isn't it?
It's the operative, this test will suffice. Whether it's Pearson's, whether it's this test, that's all you need to take.
Thanks, Tony. And let's get to the most important question and the final question. When's it going to be available?
17th of June.
There you go, everybody. So 17th of June is the big day. I'm sure all on the call have found it really useful. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Tony, for your time today. It's really important that we constantly see evolution. And as I say, this goes back to the feedback NASC was getting back in the autumn of 2023 and through the regional meetings and the CEO surgeries and other platforms. We've been constantly getting, we need to see some improvement. And it's great to see through CISRS and NOCN that actual improvement, which has been in development for a number of years, but it's great to see that coming out in just a few days' time. Finally, before we finish and wrap up, we've got a little poll, and if we could just, Marie, if you could click the poll into action, please, that would be fantastic, because those that want to hear a bit more information and get a bit of a follow-up, if you could just complete now and say yes, you're interested, or no, you're not, we'll make sure that we get the links out to you. So that you're all aware, and it's fantastic when you see such a fast response. So let's give that a few seconds longer. We're almost complete. Brilliant. So 87% of the current, we did have almost, I think we had just over 50 people on that at one stage, Carl, today, Tony. So brilliant. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating. Big thank you again for our speakers today. We look forward to keeping you updated on further developments. Thanks again. Cheers all.
Thank you for hosting.
Yep.
Pleasure. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Tony. Bye all.